Hi, welcome everyone to yet another video from Rediscovering World. Today we are continuing our road trip in the famous city of Turkey, that's none other than Istanbul. So currently we are planning to visit one of the famous attraction which is a bit far from the city, and it is none other than Pierre Loti Hill. So let's go and explore it. We started early in the morning and had the breakfast from one of the restaurants nearby, and we thought of covering more attractions today. So the place we are going to visit, the Pierre Loti Hill, as I already mentioned, is a bit far from the Istanbul. So we had a long, around 20-25 minutes ride from the main city of Istanbul. So we were able to get a parking slot near to the foot of Pierre Loti Hill, and we parked there and thought of having a walk to the famous ropeway which will take us to the top of the Pierre Loti Hill. There are different ways we can go to the top of the hill. So one of the ways are taking a cable car, the other way is the funicular stuff. So I always preferred the cable car because of its beautiful views while we ascend towards the top. Today we are visiting the Pierre Loti Hill. So we are taking a mode of transportation of ropeway. It's quite famous here, which we called as Pierre Loti Tepsi. So it's a cable car which connects from the footsteps of this hill to the top of the Pierre Loti. I don't know how many of you have experienced this means of transportation in Turkey, and it's quite famous here. And on the way I will explain to you the history of Pierre Loti Hill, and also we'll find some good spots to take some nice photographs. So are you guys ready to come along with me to explore and see the beautiful views from Pierre Loti Hill? As we reaching near to the station, I can see a lot of people heading towards the station, and the host in Istanbul already mentioned to me that you have to reach the station a bit early, otherwise it could be quite busy and you have to stand in a big queue to take a ticket which will take you to the top of the hill. So as he's mentioned, when we reach there, it is apparently so busy and it's like a big queue over there. So I can see the queue from here itself. This Istanbul cable car is called as Eyüp Pierre Loti Teleferik Hatti. I don't know if this is the way how we pronounce it, but it's located in the Eyüp area on the northwestern shore of the Golden Horn on the European side. So actually it's a two-station gondola type elevator and runs between Eyüp Pierre Loti. So it's quite a busy station. Now you can see how long is the queue. So we have to stay quite a long time. I think we have spent around 30 to 40 minutes in this big queue. And you can see people from child age to the old age. You can see a lot of people been standing in the queue. So actually this cable car opened on November 30th of 2005. It's a 384 meter long line with a total of 4 cabins. So each cabin can accommodate 8 passengers. So one trip may take around 2 minutes and 45 seconds to reach the top of the hill, and the only difficulty is how we pay for the trip. So they take two types of payment. One is through your card and other one is through, you need to have an Istanbul card. So there are, you can see in front of you the two paying stations. So from here you can get a Istanbul card if you pay through your bank. Otherwise it's quite difficult to have a ride on the top. So when you move across, you can see a model of Pierre Loti and the cable car in front of you. So this is how they represent. You can see the golden horn on the side and the Pierre Loti hill on the left side. So I would recommend that you should be prepared for this congestion anyway, because you can't book the tickets online. You have to stand in queue and you have to have this payment done, then only you can have a ride to the top. So but even long queues are rewarded because of the great beauty, especially experiencing such a unique beauty of the Golden Horn and the surrounding areas. Actually, this cable car was built to provide local people and foreign tourists to get an easy access to the Pierre Loti hill while avoiding walking through this large Eyüp cemetery on the hillside. And it gives a more or less a unique experience of having a picturesque beauty of the Golden Horn. And this hill is named after the French naval officer and author Pierre Loti. I think that's why it's been called as Pierre Loti Hill. So he is a quite famous French naval officer who came here and reside over the top of the hill, and he had done a lot of poetry works and stuff, and the government has rewarded with, after the death, the name as Pierre Loti Hill. So actually the cost for the card is not so expensive, but the card gives an opportunity to have 3 rides for 3 different peoples. So actually if I get a card, I can have a ride for 3 times. So the thing is that me and my wife took 2 of the rides to the top of the hill, and I thought of I come back and take the car and ride to the top and pick them up. So that's what our plan, because this is quite a big queue, and we literally stand there around 30 to 40 minutes to reach up to this level of having the cable car. We can see a lot of tourists coming up to use the cable car to the top of the Pierre Loti hill. And even more, I can see there is a lot of native peoples who came for the weekends and stuff to take their kids to the top of the hill and have some beautiful type of excursions. And one thing I forgot to mention is that there is a beautiful, well-kept path that winds its way up to the hill through the Eyüp cemeteries. So we can see the cemeteries when we heading up in the ropeway. So which are not only some of the largest in the Istanbul, but these cemeteries are quite oldest in Turkey even. So if you don't feel like exercising, you can take this route. Otherwise it would be quite worth walking across this path to the top of the hill. So actually this peak offers a delightful view of Istanbul's Golden Horn, which is just as impressive after sunset when the city lights illuminate as it's during the day. but unfortunately we have like a different plan, so we thought of covering the Pierre Loti hill in the morning. And there is also a cafe in the morning, we will show you when we reach up to there, but actually we are recording this video a bit after we traveled, that's why I'm just telling everything in her head. Okay, so don't feel bad about that. I know you guys have a lot of questions about Pierre Loti hill, and one of the questions could be what is Pierre Loti hill? So I think I've already mentioned that. So it's a popular attraction. It is a bit far from the main city of Istanbul, and it's been named after the French novelist and naval officer Pierre Loti, who frequently visited this area and been inspired for his writings. So actually it's been situated in the Eyüp district, and it just offers a breathtaking view of the Golden Horn and the historic city skyline. So that's what the Pierre Loti all about. And one of the other questions could be regarding the history of Pierre Loti. So actually this Pierre Loti hill holds a significant history in Istanbul. So it's actually a popular spot during the Ottoman Empire, known for its panoramic views and serene atmosphere. So normally the visitors would climb to the top of the hill to enjoy the beautiful landscape and seek some sort of meditation admire the beauty of the nature. So still now it continues to attract the local and tourists alike. So that's all mainly about the importance and the history about the Pierre Loti hill. So we actually met a Malaysian family who is visiting here for the first time. So they got I think 4 kids, and they have been traveling. This is their second country, if I'm not wrong. So they have not been traveled since post-COVID. So they are literally enjoying their trip because it's been quite a long time they had a travel after COVID. So now you can see on the sides, you can see the big cemetery, which is the oldest cemetery in Istanbul. So there you can see a clear path which goes to the top of the hill. So from especially, I think we visited around Feb of this year. But if you could visit during the spring season, the view could be much more better. At the time you can see the green trees and the Golden Horn, and it could be a big and a splendid stuff, I could say. So it doesn't take too much of time. It roughly takes 2 minutes, I think. So we reached to the top of the hill. So but the view of the Golden Horn from the cable car is quite interesting, and it's worth taking some good pictures even from the cable car. So I'll tell you briefly about what are the things we can do in Pierre Loti hill. So normally the first thing is the cable car ride. It's quite an interesting one. The only thing I would recommend not to go for cable car could be the long queues. You have to stand a bit in time. I think you have to come a bit early to get the tickets in the morning, and you can come up to the hill. And the second thing which you could do in Pierre Loti hill could be visiting the Pierre Loti cafe. This is the quite famous cafe at the top of the hill where you can relax and have a cup of Turkish tea. while having the panoramic views of the city. And the third thing which we could do is exploring the Lotti hill. You can just wander through the narrow streets surrounding the hill and admire the charming beauty of Ottoman era type houses, and there are a lot of beautiful shops too even. Now we reached the top station of Pierre Loti hill, so we just came out after punching our card. Now we are just heading towards the main attraction over the Pierre Loti hill. So the other thing which we could see in Pierre Loti hill is Eyüp Sultan Mosque. So you could go and explore the Eyüp Sultan Mosque, which is an important religious site for Muslims, and you could find some or witness the peaceful atmosphere of the historic place of worship. So the last thing which you could do is the photography. So if you are good enough in photography, you could take some stunning photographs of the Istanbul skyline, especially the Golden Horn and the Bosphorus Canal from various viewpoints on the hill. Now you can see the wall of the Golden Horn from here. It would be so much beautiful, especially during the spring season. I think now you can see all the leaves of the trees are shedded, but even then it's so beautiful from here. We took some random pics and also helped our Malaysian friends to take some pictures, and I think it's quite worth having a visit when you come to Istanbul. Once you get out of the station, you could see multiple sites were being put up as viewpoints, so you can take a lot of pictures, especially the great views of Golden Horns. So there are stairs and slopes, especially for disabled and those who have the normal walks. You can just go near to that area and take some beautiful pictures. So as the Pierre Loti hill has got a rich history and breathtaking views and has got a serene ambience, I could recommend all visiting Istanbul. It could be a must visit attraction, and whether you're seeking inspiration, tranquility, or simply an escape from the city, this hilltop destination has everything it could offer you. I think a lot of tourists been visiting Pierre Loti hill because of its spectacular views, but some of the tourists, I see that they are visiting as a part of experiencing Istanbul's holiest scene. So I just asked few of my fellow travelers. They come here to visit the Eyüp Sultan complex, which is named after Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, who was a companion of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was died during the failed Arab siege of Constantinople. So the mosque and tomb are still open to the visitors and have been considered most sacred destination for some of the Muslim pilgrims. My family really enjoyed being here, and we took a lot of pictures really with the Golden Horn as the background, and my kids were just liked and they were literally running here and there. And one of the things I should tell everyone is that if you're taking the kids, just make sure that you hold them properly. Otherwise, especially during the rainy season and winter, the steps and the slopes are quite slippy and chance of getting fall down is very high. After spending some time and taking some beautiful pictures, we thought of going ahead and explore the Pierre Loti hill in detail. So now we are heading towards the Pierre Loti Hill Cafe and let's see what's there to explore. So I'll tell some more things in detail about Pierre Loti Hill in the meantime. Actually, the real name of Pierre Loti, who lived in the Istanbul for long years and who was a real Istanbul lover, was Julien Viaud. So actually there is a historical cafe. Now you could see that it's the most ideal place to watch the beautiful view of the Golden Horn. So when we reach there, it's quite busy and you can see 3 rows being completely filled by the tourists who've been sitting here since I think more than 2 hours and admiring the beauty of the Golden Horn. So it was said that in those years Pierre Loti used to come this cafe, which was named at that time was Rabia Kadin Kahawasi, and wrote his novel Asiyade, which was written overlooking the Golden Horn. So today this district still kept this original Turkish settlement by being restored, and it has many spaces serving for the tourist facilities. So since the morning it's been so rush. You could see a lot of tourists coming up and down. Some of them have already visited the Pierre Loti hill and some of them are like us who are just started the hiking stuff. So now we thought of just going inside the cafe and see what is there. Currently this cafe is a popular tourist attraction. If we visit the Pierre Loti hill, we could see a lot of artifacts if you go inside the cafe, or especially on the walls, and you could see a lot of old utensils being used to serve the foods and stuff. It's quite worth visiting inside and see about the history of Pierre Loti hill and some beautiful canvas paintings which like commemorating the beautiful view of the Golden Horn. Actually, the name of the coffee found here in the Ottoman period was actually Rabia Hatun coffee. However, after Pierre Loti wrote his novel Asiyade here, the coffee and the hill became known by his own name, Pierre Loti. So he's the one who went to Istanbul in 1876 as a naval officer and fell in love with a married woman here, as he mentioned already in the novel. So Pierre Loti, who rented a house in Eyüp while working in Istanbul, started to live here. He learned Turkish and lived among Turks. So most of the time he goes to this coffee house on the hill and spend his time here. So from time to time he had the opportunity to meet with the woman he fell in love with. So actually this is the place he loves most and spend most of his time with his lover. So his duty ended up after 2 years in Istanbul and he had to leave Eyüp. So in 1879 his novel Asiyade about his experience in Istanbul was published. So when he had the opportunity to return to Istanbul in 1887, the woman he fell in love with was died. So a photograph was taken by Pierre Loti while visiting Asiade's tomb in the old Topiaki cemetery is still in the archives. Currently, at the top of the hill, we could see some souvenir shops, some juice shop, some shops that makes like a naan or bread type stuff, which gives an atmosphere of an old Turkish quarter. So we thought of having some food because we are a bit hungry after having a bit of walk. So we bought some fruit juices and now we are just waiting to get a special naan type stuff, which is literally quite famous in Turkey. My wife was quite keen in watching the preparation of that naan. So they literally made with, I think it's wheat, and added up some spinach and egg. It's quite tasty and it's quite popular here, and I could say it is quite cheap even. We spent some time watching how they makes this special naan, and we had that naan sitting nearby. And also we really enjoyed talking with strangers, especially the tourists and the local people, and they mentioned that this area is quite famous, especially for this beautiful and stunning views of Golden Horn, and some people are visiting here as a part of a pilgrimage, as already I mentioned about that. So visiting the tomb of Eyüp al-Ansari, who was a friend of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the main things you could do here is having a cable car is one of the beautiful things which you could do that gives a beautiful and stunning view. And the next thing is just walk across the historical graveyard, because it's one of the oldest and largest Muslim graveyards in Istanbul. And one of the rarest things some of the people does is that they just go to the bookstore and get the Asiade book. So you can have a full story in French, English and other languages even. So nowadays this novel has come in comics, pictures even. And the other thing which you could do is visiting the Eyüp Sultan Mosque. So literally we went there nearby, but the walkway is quite rough and it was started raining, so we thought of like visiting there in some other time. But it's worth visiting the top of Pierre Loti and admire the beauty of Golden Horn. So now we are heading back after having this beautiful naan towards my car parking. So I thought of taking the car to the top of the hill so I can pick up my family from here. So there is no much option for accommodation in Pierre Loti Hill. I could see only 2 hotels who works and functions in the top of the hill. When I searched to the net, I think they are quite booked and they are quite expensive even. So I would suggest to get your accommodation around Istanbul and you could come here as a excursion in the morning. So hope you all enjoyed the video. So I would really recommend, if you come to Istanbul, to have a visit to the Pierre Loti Hill and admire the beauty of the beautiful Golden Horn. So So we are just winding up today's video. So kindly share and subscribe our channel and put your valuable comments in the comment box. And if you want any help regarding any doubts regarding these places, do put in the comment box so I would able to answer it as early as I can. Until we see next week, it's me, Abil and Hannah signing off from Pierre Loti Hill. Take care. Bye.